Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session. My name is Aisha Torres, and thank you so much for being here. And the audience who are watching us on their convenience. That's great to have you. First of all, I want to say if you are a vocational rehabilitation counselor or administrator, you're helping people with disabilities to place them on a job, especially for tech careers. I have a lot of important information to share with you. Just this session is for you. Or if you're an individual with a disability who has interest in tech jobs, this session again is for you. And you have to, you know, pay attention because we have an amazing information to share with you. The project that I'm about to share with you has no cost to neither individual with a disability or the VR agency. So, with that said, I want to introduce my co-presenters, Emily Brigg, and not now, maybe when you come in. Okay, all right. Well, they're going to be here in a second. So, um, I'm from Florida Atlantic University. I'm associate professor at Florida Atlantic University. And today we're talking about Access Tech Project, which is empowering people with disabilities through innovative vocational rehabilitation in tech careers. And we have a very short, nice introductory video that I want to just start off with. Florida Atlantic University is leading the charge in creating a highly skilled workforce for the tech industry through its Access Tech project. This project empowers individuals with disabilities through state of the art certification, tailored training, and hands on experiences. Through Access Tech, we are developing competent, certified, and productive professionals.
My colleagues and I from the University of Wisconsin-Madison are excited about working in partnership on the Access Technology Project awarded to Florida Atlantic University.
At Florida Atlantic, we're using the latest technology for workforce development by creating accessible online training supplemented by realistic gaming simulations and industry experience. Our training focus will be around sectors that are important to the state and the nation, such as cybersecurity, cloud services, and computer-aided design and 3D printing. These programs aren't just innovative, they are the future of workforce readiness, bridging critical skill gaps in the tech industry.
Collaboration is really key in the development of research and practice. At the Innovative Partnership for Rehabilitation and Research at UW-Madison, we are really thrilled to be working with Florida Atlantic University on this project.
This visionary partnership between Florida Atlantic Colleges of Engineering and Education sets the standard for innovation in vocational rehabilitation and addresses the workforce needs of businesses in a 21st century technology-driven economy.
At iPart, we truly believe that working together on shared goals, we can support individuals with disabilities and technology careers.
Collaboration with industry leaders is essential for effective technical training. That's why the Florida Atlantic Access Tech program includes paid internships, ensuring that our students gain hands-on experience while preparing for careers in high-demand fields. Access Tech will set new standards in shaping the workforce and offer businesses fully trained individuals to address their specific needs in key sectors.
Your future in technology starts here at FAU.
Take the next step towards that future with us at Access Technology.
Together, we will create the workforce of the future and keep our nation competitive.
Okay, I hope that everybody actually listened. Awesome. So let me just quickly wrap up what we actually watch and what's coming in this presentation. I like to walk around, but I was told that I can't really leave this part because that's where the camera is. And it's just like confining me right here. I don't like it, but I just make it work. So this project is nationwide, helping people with disabilities who have interest in technology, and specifically in 3 areas, which we're going to cover that more in detail. We provide the skill training, and then we provide internships, and we prepare them to work in those areas with certification. So that's why we say they become competent and certified professionals. And we do all this with no cost to the person or the agency. Where do we find that money, or what do we do this? How do we do this? This grant is funded from Department of Education, Rehabilitation Services Administration, RSA. It is a 9.9 million grant for 5 years. This is our first year. Okay, yes. We have a highlight here. Why? Because yes, we understand vocational rehabilitation, we understand people with disabilities, but we are working with Florida Atlantic College of Engineering. So they bring their wealth of knowledge about the technology training and in cybersecurity, cloud computing, computer design, aided design, and 3D printing. They are the ones providing us know-how and all the training development tools. So this is a collaborative work. And this is not just Florida Atlantic University, but also University of Wisconsin-Madison. We are collaborating interdisciplinary and to universities in this project. And now I would like to introduce you, Emily Bray.
Thank you, Aisha. I appreciate that. So my name is Emily Brink. I'm here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Aisha, I think you gave us a little bit too much credit on this project. This was really the development of Florida Atlantic University, and we are just honored that they invited us to help participate in this. But it was really their the backbone of this project, of a great idea. Um, I was absolutely on board with this particular project. I think, we talk a lot about COVID-19, and we talked a lot about the devastating things that happened with COVID-19, and I'm not just valuing that by any means, but there was a lot of positive things that have come out of COVID-19, especially in the VR world. And one of those is that opportunity to work remotely, have access to remote training, employment, like I mentioned, providing services, a wide variety of areas for voc rehab agencies, as well as for individuals with disabilities trying to find jobs. So we're really trying to meet that demand, and we're trying to also be kind of the forefront of the field and saying, hey, let's create this program that supports people with disabilities who maybe want to work remotely or want to do technology fields, since that is becoming obviously a lot more popular. And there's going to be a huge amount of job openings in the STEM field, especially technology, moving forward. It's one of the highest growing IT occupations, and we will continue to see this grow even past 2032. But it's it's one of the highest grown projections between that particular time frame. Another reason we're really passionate about this as well is the median wages within IT services are higher than average, maybe with other STEM fields from the particular research that we saw. Always caveat on that, geographic location can always make a difference, degree level makes a difference, and things like that. So that's not the gold standard, but from the research that we're doing is if we can get individuals trained in a tech field, it makes them much more competitive and for those higher wages at those entry level or even mid-level positions than with having no experience. So similar to what was done in that phenomenal video that Florida Atlantic created, or FAU, I'll probably start saying that, so that's what that means. There are 3 different tracks that individuals can take. So the first track is the cybersecurity. The second track is cloud computing, and the last one is CAD and 3D printing. And Aisha and Sam will be mentioning this a little bit later. But if you're a person that's like, oh wow, a free program, I'm very interested in already, but I don't know which one I want to do, that is totally okay. The program is designed for you to take a tech prep course first and just kind of dip your toes in and see kind of what you want, and we'll chat a little bit about that. So it's okay if you're like, oh, this is overwhelming, there's so many different options. Definitely come to us. We want you to come with your questions. Aisha has developed and her team has developed a great team of people that you will talk to make sure that this program is right for you, and help kind of refine some of those areas. And the goal of the project is, once again, to obtain those well-paying jobs that will lead to hopefully some career advancements or opportunities for additional training or job opportunities. Okay. I think it's always important to note the importance of, our team thinks it's important to note the importance of gainful employment. There's definitely a lot of benefits of employment uh, fiscally. Just having that financial independence is really helpful. Psychological, social health, well-being. Um, I think especially in Western society, and I've said this in another presentation if you were on with that, but definitely here in Western society, it's really part of our identity. When we meet somebody for the first time, what is the thing that we always ask people? What do you do for a living, right? And people are really proud about what they do. So we want to give that opportunity for people to get training and jobs and careers that they're proud of, and that they know that they can continue to progress in that particular field. It really provides that last life satisfaction, purpose, and dignity piece. Um, when we think about individuals who are experiencing unemployment, it can lead to things like depression, anxiety, strained relationships, and poor health. I mean, historically, people with disabilities have much higher healthcare needs, medical expenses. Um, and so having employment can help fiscally be able to compensate for some of those. We also think about independent living, and being able to afford your own place to live, or live with uh, roommates, or be able to buy your own food or do leisurely activities, and be a part of the community. And so really does help in that area. Another reason that we're also really passionate about this, and feel this is a great field to get in, a great project, is the employment rate for persons with disabilities is around 42% right now, comparative to 77% for um, people without disabilities. So once again, as I feel, we're continuing to strive to bridge that gap between employment rates for people with and without disabilities. And we feel like this is a great way for us to help support that cause, I think, kind of our mission as a field. Uh, for this particular slide, we're thinking about, we always think about things from the client side, and as professionals in the field, we also want to think about things from the business or employer perspective. How is this really going to benefit the employer, right? So we have to think of the supply, demand side kind of idea here. When individuals go through this particular training program, it really can help with those improved performance or productivity. So even like being able to maybe work with businesses, and saying, hey, if there's a gap, we have these individuals that are well trained in order to provide that work at a high performance. Um, and then of course that leads for the business higher revenue and economic profit. Um, and I love this particular study that's mentioned on this slide. But companies, so, a lot of times building those relationships with companies, and our team, or Aisha and her team and Sam, has spent a lot of time building relationships with businesses, um, to be able to start this project of saying, Hey, there are a lot of benefits to hiring people with disabilities. I know there's a lot of sometimes can be, businesses can be skeptical because we always get questions like if somebody falls on the job who is reliable, VR or RS. And we always try to combat that by saying people with disabilities are no more likely to fall than somebody without a disability on a job, or just the unknown of disabilities or providing quote unquote reasonable accommodations and what that means. There's when businesses are unknown or employers are unknown of what that means, um, it's that education piece. So Aisha and her team have spent a lot of time building those, and it is proven or is shown at least in this particular study that disability inclusive companies outperform peers. So really having that diverse workforce is really important um, as well. And lastly, before I turn it over, really the mission of this project is once again empowering individuals with disabilities in tech. So especially if they're like, oh, maybe this is something I've never thought about before, or didn't think I would have the qualifications or have the accommodations to be able to do it, or the access to technology. That was kind of a pun on words there, but having the access to actually use the technology for the technology program. But it really does provide us a specialized training in high demands technology field. So I believe you have a team of, and if you'll probably go over this, uh, a large team of people who are very specialized in this area, as well, that help us make those specialized training. Uh, it helps create pathways to competitive integrated employment. Um, we have worked with partnering with lead technology companies for internships and job opportunities. A little nugget for further part of this project is that all individuals will complete a paid internship through the projects, through the grant. And this will help build a more inclusive workforce in the tech industry. So these are just some of the key main missions that we're hoping to do over the next 5 years, and hopefully beyond that, with this particular project. So I'm going to pass it back over to Aisha to continue.
This was very helpful before we actually talk about how the project works, the futures of the futures of the project. Yeah, I'm about to just get out of the camera. So why this is easy, accessible, or why we wanted to do this that way? Because our participants will be people with disabilities nationwide. We are based in Florida. You don't need to be. So everything is online. First of all, if you have any interest, what do? We have a beautiful website all in one place, www.fau.edu/accesstech. Just go on the website. You just get all the information possible about the project. And there's also an application portal that I'm going to show you in a little bit. You go to the application portal, you apply if you have the interest. Well, you are a VR counselor. You have clients that you want to refer to us. What do you need to do? Nothing on your end. Just refer your client. Give that information to them. We do not want to cause time or cost in any way to the VR agencies, because this should be very accessible and easy for them as well. Again, one-stop shop, it's a website. You're going to give them the website. Your clients, participants will apply to the project themselves. There's no people in between. That's very important. So the person with a disability, we want to empower them, right? They need to be the ones who are applying. They apply, they go through the process. We have it, it's competitive because it's nationwide, and our numbers are, compared to how many applications we're going to get and how many people we're going to recruit, is really proportionally different. So they go through a lot of, steps, and then we do interviews. My team interview with the applicants, and then if the person gets admitted to the program, now they start the self-paced, flexible learning for all those three areas that we have been mentioning: cybersecurity, cloud computing, 3D, and 3D printing. We integrated, but we're still working on some of the modules, universal design principles. Why? We want to include all disabilities possible: mental, cognitive, you name it. So we have in our first cohort, which is super nice news for us and anyone who is interested, we form our first cohort successfully, and they're next week they're starting the very first cohort, going through the tech prep first, and then they're going to start one of these matched programs. So in our first cohort, we have fully blind, fully deaf, people who are in the autism spectrum, TBI, all these different disabilities. That's why we're following the universal design principles to be able to help them all. And we have something new that we are using this. I wouldn't say for the first time. I'm sure this has been done before, but in our capacity, that's what we are trying to. It's really interesting and very rewarding, I want to say, working with engineers who hasn't really customized everything for people with disabilities in mind, or they have done that kind of work, which is amazing work out there. But in our capacity, Florida Atlantic and University of Wisconsin, we're trying to get the rehabilitation counseling foundation in every aspect of this project. So that's the rewarding, unique aspect. So the engineer folks were talking to me about gamification. All of us know gamification. We have used that in different capacities in many ways, right? It's fun. Fun when you're playing a game, you're learning. Our kids learn this way nowadays. Everywhere use gamification. But we're stepping that up a little bit with a little bit use of innovative technologies. We have not integrated virtual reality applications on this, but I have a line of research using virtual reality, and this project is 5 years. So I'm hoping that at one point we're going to integrate that too. At this level, not on the virtual, but through our programs, we're going to use gamification for the learning. So we're going to test how gamification can teach or help teaching technology related work to people with disabilities. Again, a lot of disabilities we are talking about, and we're going to be able to, like some researchers who are watching us and seeing the potential here in this project, I want you to see if this kind of innovation helps people to learn using gamification better. We want to see that, right? If you're a researcher, reach out. I would love to collaborate. Just let us know that you're interested. We're going to find a way to share this information, get your background as well. So, okay, we talked about the gamification and innovation. Okay, let's talk about building capacity. Can we do this alone? Of course not. Can we reach out to people with disabilities and then we're going to be all successful the next day? That's not going to happen. Vocational rehabilitation agencies around the nation, you're Arizona, you're California, we welcome you. We are nationwide. Please reach out. We serve every territory and every state in our nation. We want to work with counselors. We have a great team. We are expanding. If you're a counselor, we have accesstech@fau.edu email address. This is our general contact address. We have team behind that email address. If you have a question, send us an email so we can help you. Hey, How does that work? What am I going to do? Start from there. Just reach out. That's all that matters for us. You're an employer. Oh, you're so welcome. I would love to welcome you. If you're a tech company and you want to be part of this project, you're right here. We'll just, embrace you. We'll just, have you. We'll collaborate with you because we have internship process. We pay for it. We do not cost anything for the employer as well in the internship process. These are paid internships, by the way. We're going to be paying the participant who is doing the internship. We're not asking anything from the employer, but the employer will have the exposure of hiring, working entry-level tech workers who are with disabilities, and then they're going to have that exposure too and experience. So if you're willing to, work with us, please do. Of course, tech leaders. We're going to be, going around the nation, different conferences, different tech conferences. We are going to talk about this. We are committed to have a huge workforce development, power, utilizing people with disabilities, untouched in most cases. Maybe they're living in a rural area with a lot of potential. They just don't have that access and opportunity. They haven't have that yet. We're providing that bridge with the employers who are leading the tech companies. Is just like Emily mentioned, they do better when they have diversity in their group. We have a stakeholder advisory committee. We're working on expanding. If you think that you are very you're in your role someone that bridge these gaps, have a lot of connections, we welcome you as a stakeholder advisory committee member. We're still expanding. We have some committee members on that website. We haven't posted the names yet. We want to form a little bigger and then present there. And then as I was talking to when you see the SVRA, it's the State Vocational Rehabilitation Agency counselors and then the CRP staff to enhance services. We are working collaboratively with them. We want their feedback. Okay, I wasn't sure if I'm covering this, so I need to call my colleague. So, innovative approach. Why do we like this? Unique aspects. We talked about the collaboration. So, I want to just share with the group that there are so many things that a lot of people want to do with, inclusion of people with disabilities. Isn't that a little bit, it's a big area serving people with disabilities, and rehab counselors or, counselor educators, researchers, we have been studying on this, how to integrate them into community, into jobs and everything. All that foundation, without that foundation, if we can manage this project. So the innovation is here that rehabilitation counseling, we built this on top of engineering. So that collaboration actually the heart of this whole project, which we think that it's a unique aspect. Customized, culturally sensitive training for people with disabilities. That's what we do, right? That's what we do as a counselor educators, the rehabilitation counselors. That's what we learn. That's what we talk about. I too many times mentioned that, but no problem. I'm going to say it. We're nationwide and we are open to anyone. And now I will talk about the process of how does it work. So as I said that once the participants comes into the program, now they're starting with tech prep. Emily talked a little bit about the tech prep. maybe we'll have her talk a little more when it's again, your slide. Maybe you can go through a little more tech prep. I feel like we need to talk a little bit about that. We're not just taking you and then throwing you in the pool for swimming. If you don't know, if you know, that's not a problem. But that's the idea. You don't know the swimming, we're just gonna throw you in the pool. We're throwing you in the tech prep. That prepares you. That tells you about soft skills, employment skills. Emily will cover a little more about that. Once we prepare you for the idea, about 8 weeks of training, now we're matching you with one of the trainings that we have. Now that we match you, you have about 6 months to go through the program, skills program, self-paced online. We'll see in our first cohort how this actually time process, 3 to 6 months will be. I'm sure because it's self-paced, some people will take a little more time, some people will take a little less time with the background and all that. And then we're going to ask our participants, and we're going to pay for it, a certification exam. We're paying for it. The participants will take the well-respected, field accepted, tech field accepted certification. Once you have the certification, now you're ready to enter your paid internship. We're going to match you with the employer, and you're going to get into the paid internship. That's how the process goes. That takes about 1 year. You have a question? Yes. High school degree. These are designed for a high school, entry level tech jobs. That's why we kept the criteria high school degree. And actually, I'm glad you asked that question. What's our criteria to get into the project, right? You have to have a disability and you have to have a high school degree minimum. If you have higher, if you have other certifications, you're so welcome. We still can give you the refresher and get you in this position, like opportunity in the program. We just need the minimum high school degree. Now we're going to talk about the training programs. I'm going to introduce you my colleague, Sam Ye.
Thank you, Aisha. That sets the stage for talking about the 3 areas that we train. My name is Sang-Baek Ye. I'm an associate professor of research methodology at Florida Atlantic. I serve as a statistician and psychometrics lead on Access Tech team. So we provide 3 high-impact, industry credentialed areas: cybersecurity, cloud computing solutions, and computer-aided design, aka CAD, and 3D printing. To connect these 3 fields to some action words, cybersecurity defends the data infrastructure and system. Cloud computing builds and manages the very backbone of the technology that we're using today. The CAD and 3D printing designs and fabricates the digital models that we only imagine. So first, cybersecurity. There's increasing hostile environment in the digital world these days. Just this morning, I was told that somebody was trying to log into my Gmail account. That happens to everybody nowadays, right? So in the news, every breach you see translates into a new job in cybersecurity. So the importance is very obviously there. I'll be saying this 3 times because we offer 3 areas: high demand, low supply. There is high demand for experts because all the companies are now turning into digital infrastructure. They want to defend their infrastructure, of course. So more and more jobs will open up in terms of cybersecurity. And high demand, low supply always connects to attractive salaries. So After they're done with this training, they'll be able to safeguard critical data infrastructure, system integration. So all kinds of digital lives for consumers and companies. Second is a cloud computing. There's rapid industry growth. It doubled in the last 5 years. It's going to increase even more as we see Google building more of those drives out there in California. So again, high demand, low supply. It's something that did not exist before, and it's rapidly increasing. Like I said, lucrative salaries connect to these very specialized STEM field, like cloud computing. All the things we do these days, AI, Internet of Things, big data, they all take place in cloud computing. So we know they are becoming more popular, not only to individuals, but to private and public sector. So that provides the students or the applicants the future-proof career path. The third path that we provide is CAD and 3D printing. Just like the other two tracks, this one has explosive growth. Projected annual growth of 10%. And it's only 10% doesn't sound like so much, but if it compounds and if it increases even more, it's a huge area that, again, did not exist before, but is becoming more popular. High demand, low supply leads to good payment, good salary. So CAD and 3D printing is used in all kinds of fields. Aerospace, prosthetics, it could be anything. If it can be modeled digitally and can be made into a tangible object, they need CAD and 3D printing. It is sustainable. It is pro-environment as well. So again, a strong career path that we're providing through Access Tech. This will make a real impact because there's innovations in assistive technology, prosthetics, and sustainable manufacturing. And I'll take this over to Emily.
Excellent, thank you. So I wanted to take a little step back a little bit and talk a little bit about the project ecosystem, how this works. Also, Aisha mentioned a little bit about the tech prep program. So this is the part that the University of Wisconsin-Madison is really prepping before they go into one of the specialization areas. So like I mentioned before, if you're interested in this program, but you're really not sure what direction that you want to go in, that's completely okay. When you get accepted into the program, you start out with our tech prep program. This is about an 8-week course. Most of it is asynchronous, but there are actually some live components to this course where our instructors meet with the students or the participants in the course based off a time that works for them. So I just want to be clear about that right away, that it's not always like Mondays at a particular time. The group kind of decides together what is a time that works for everybody, based off time zones, based off of if people are currently working or other responsibilities as well. So through this program is really to essentially prep them or prep individuals for the more intensive programs. So for example, if we have individuals that it's even been a long time using a computer, our team is here to help with that, to get you acclimated to using online platforms of courses, to being able to do practicing of like recording videos of yourself, giving responses to questions, being able to type responses in discussion boards, really what we consider those almost like some soft skills training as well that we will be doing. So with those soft skills trainings, we have quite a few areas of focus on those. So we work on like communication skills. Um, we also work on things like what's it mean to be like networking or responding to other individuals, or just even like what is technology and what does that mean. And so not only are we building some of those hard skills, but we are building some of those soft skills of what does it mean to be on time? What does it mean to maybe work on a computer, work remotely, answering those particular questions? We consider this part of the idea of like, this is the vulnerability part is it's okay not to know the answer. And same with the other programs too. It's a lot about learning, but this is really just the foundational piece of saying, is a technology field kind of what you really want to be doing? And then throughout the 8 weeks, we explore or dip into all of the different options to see maybe which one that individual may want to actually emphasize or take on, of what track that those individuals want to take on. So once again, it is just a great way to get individuals exposed to the technology field, learn some of those soft skills pieces of things they may not been doing for a while, have never done before. Um, and just starting to dive into that. So once again, this is a nationwide recruitment. So 18 and up, but youth and adults with disabilities who have a high school diploma on this. Um, and Aisha did mention that individuals have to have a disability, and if it's okay for me to caveat on this, it has to be a documented disability, and I think Aisha will talk a little bit about that. So unfortunately, due to the way that like the grant is written or the grant requirements is, it can't be self-identified like maybe some other projects that we have worked on in the past. But with our, this is why we love voc rehab agencies or agencies that work with people with disabilities can help provide some of that documentation as well in that sense. Um, we're also, so participants is kind of the one side of it. The tech industry partners, once again, are the other side. Sam did a great job of mentioning some of the tech companies in California. So when we think about internships, we provide those internships at their location. So there's no reason that individuals need to move. I want to be clear on that too. So just because it's based in Florida doesn't mean all of our internships are in Florida. So there's no expectation that people move to a particular location. These may be in person, remote opportunities. And then, these with the providers of doing internship and possible job opportunities. And then collaborators or collaboration enhancing work environments. And then on the other part is the community collaborators, and just as valuable, just as important as the other two. So if you work for a rehabilitation agency, whether in the states or the territories, um, and you're like, hey, I have clients that are interested in the tech fields. This is a great training opportunity. You just send them our way. The only thing we're looking for in that collaboration piece is those documentation of disabilities. But once again, no funding requirements from the VRCs or the VR agencies. We have built a large collaboration too with the National Institute for the Deaf. So keeping that in mind as well, our goal for this entire project that we've really been emphasizing is making sure that our program is accessible. So everything has been kind of pilot testing. Um, uh, Aisha picked a very strategic group of individuals for our first group, who I know for a fact will give us great feedback if there's anything remotely that is not accessible, so that we can fix this. So when we recruit for a larger population, that will be fixed and ready to go. But so thinking about that accessible piece, everything will be screen readable, closed captioning. Um, a wide variety of things.
also done a great job of connecting with Veteran Affairs as well, especially in Florida, but also looking to expand that more nationally and many, many more. So we know there's these large community providers that we're familiar with, but we're also looking to collaborate with small community providers. If you are somewhere in a state that's like, hey, we have this great agency that also helps support people with disabilities to find employment, or we're an advocacy group, or we are case managers, and we have clients that we think would be really good for this program, yeah, please reach out to us. We're happy to answer questions or send you any information that you're particularly looking for in that area. But I think the key takeaways of the project partners or the ecosystem is we couldn't do it without one of these parts, or these projects would fall apart. Um, and so it really takes a team of people to put it together. It takes businesses to really want to participate, community uh, collaborators to work with us to find participants, and of course the participants. Oh, yeah, we have a couple questions, and I think we also had one in chat. Oh, yeah, because I forgot we're on Zoom. Yeah.
Is very, very important, and you have your team have my highest respect. I actually looking for this kind of the project for a couple years. So long story in short is, can you tell me, I understand high school diploma is a requirement, but how about the computer skill? Is there any specific requirement? For example, high school diploma does not tell you how many words this person can type, or can he use Excel or PowerPoint? What is the computer skill requirement?
Yeah, you want to answer that? Yeah.
This is a great question. I really appreciate that because it comes very often. So what we are trying to design is like high school degree at every level. We don't have like particular like typing speed or, all these measures that we could come up with, but we didn't. We said that let's aim to the high school degree because this is the entry level, preparation for careers. But as we pilot the project, as we go through, we may just understand some things are more important than others, and we may just actually, bring that up. But at this stage, in our, project, which is this is the first cohort coming in, we do not have any other criteria than just being high school degree. If someone has some sort of background, that is so welcome, because very interestingly, we are seeing some people had very interesting. I want to share this. They're like, we had a certification X, Y, and Z. We are people with disabilities. We never had an opportunity to find a job. So that's when we understood that training is important, how to train people, but at the same time, workforce development is not just training. Workforce development requires bringing two parties together, employers and the competent, certified individuals, professionals, and make that match to works for both sides. So I think our project is like very focused on that piece. If we have any additional information, we will, yeah. Yes.
And I'm happy to chime in a little bit too. And that's kind of the purpose of the tech prep course, is to one, kind of be that safe space if someone's like, I haven't typed in a while. That's why we're implementing or trying to do those live sessions to begin with, is so people can ask those questions and they can feed off of each other. And that's why we do a wide variety of different activities and assignments to see what people's skills are and where their baseline is, especially on typing, on recording videos, on uploading images. So those very, what some people would consider basic computer skills, to see where people at. I do want to clarify that the tech prep program is not a weed out program by any means. That's not saying if someone's struggling that they're not going to be able to continue, but it allows our team to figure out, or allows that individual to figure out what accommodations maybe need to be made to determine maybe their typing skills were slower, but maybe using voice to text or voice to text actually really helps. And so it's allowing us to help provide those educational pieces, and then maybe they'll be very successful. So it's kind of that give and take in that area.
I also want to highlight our friends in National Institute for the Deaf and Division of Blind Services. They are fantastic. They are helping us every step of the way to make everything accessible and coming with the referrals. The first group, for example, is we have an amazing, brilliant students who are like I mentioned with visually impaired, actually fully blind. They're going to test some of these things. And also the National Institute for the Deaf is giving us an amazing support.
We do have a number of questions from our
Great.
online attendees. So the first one, if this is nationwide, are you tracking VR customers from different states? And is there a way to share data and information across states? And if additional support is needed, what is the process for coordinating services?
Wonderful. I love it. Thank you. So the first piece of yes, yes and yes. So we do track all, because it's nationwide, we do require our participants to be a vocational rehabilitation client, former or current. It can be okay. So if someone comes, they had a disability, they never applied for VR, and they come to us, guess what we do? We say, go through the eligibility process and apply to the vocational rehabilitation. That is one way of tracking them, right? With their, future accomplishments or the employments and all. So that part, that's very deliberately, made that decision. What was the second part? Oh, okay. So if anyone wants to collaborate, I would say that the best way to collaborate in that sense would be just reach out to us. This is the part I'm going to be talking like a TV commercial. Don't change your channel. This is like, I'm doing it for sure. We're in month 6. We have 5 years. We need all the support, all the referrals, everything possible. Let's make this together success. Yes, I'm very proud and I'm very thankful to DOE and RSA that they gave us this grant. But we are here, an incredible team, incredible system, incredible people behind it. But we cannot do this without you who are watching us on Zoom and here. Yes, Emily. Oh, that's a great one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll just continue. Yes. One part that I didn't answer is that if the vocational rehabilitation counselors can provide us support, this is what we are thinking. Again, this is a new project, but this is what we are thinking what's going to happen. If the client becomes current or former client, they can go back if they're former to open their case. If they're current, if they need any kind of support that we are not providing, we can collaborate in that sense. Until all the way placement, we're going to be helping them out. So I would say the constant touch would be great if you're coordinating these things with you. But during the process, we are going to be providing all the accessibility services and all that, but any supports are welcome, if that answers that question. And if I haven't, I answer your question, please reach out to me. Like my email everywhere in this project, in the website I gave you, they all come to me. So at the end, yes. Do we have any other ones? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm happy to hear that.
I'm wondering if you could speak to the internship process and how that will lead into the job placement and like how you plan to like transition that if internship sites are kind of signing on, expecting that they would then hire the people and
So when we are talking with the employers, we say, this is our vision, right? We want to support you and all that. So they are coming with the idea that the people who are going to be intern there, they're potential employees. It's a very safe 3 months for them to interact and all that. That's a great experience. Well, employer to employer, stage to stage, they may change the placement, but what we have is a measurement of success as placement. That is very important. That's how we're, working accordingly with the employers. We are actually preparing them for that idea as well. We'll see how it turns out. No, they're not. We're, the idea is there, but they're not, of course, they're going to make their own decision. Yes. Let's take a few more questions. Yeah, we have like 4 more minutes. Sorry.
What are the technology requirements for the participant? Are they provided with any specific technology as part of the training?
Very good question. I can tie this from the previous answer to expand it. We may not provide, for example, I was talking with the Division of Blind Services. They have amazing, right, softwares and everything for the visually impaired folks. We don't have those softwares to share. So in that case, if you are that agency, if you're the client from that agency, you can ask those, help and support from the agency. And that's the other reason why we want our participants to be a vocational rehabilitation client, because the things that we cannot provide that they specifically can provide will be there. So some of these technology accessibility services, I'm assuming that that's what we're going to have work with the VR, VR folks. But in the universal design way, we are creating this as accessible as possible. As I said, we're going to pilot it, redo it, pilot it, and redo it. Do we have any other question?
So does the applicant apply themselves first, and then if accepted, is this service added to their IPE by their VRC?
This is the second time I'm hearing this, because I am talking with the VR directors and their teams. We can put that in their IPE. We have no problem with that. If that would help their system, they said Access Tech training provided by DOE, RSA, or this project, right? That can be a line in the IPE. That's great. As long as they need to know that it doesn't cost anything for the VR, we can do that. Agency to agency, it can change, and we are open to collaborate with each agency's, requirements.
So this is kind of two people asking very similar questions, so I'll try to get to them both. How many cohorts do you anticipate, and how many students are you able to support in each cohort? And then how many applicants are likely to be accepted each year?
Our ultimate goal is 250 in 5 years, but we are thinking that this is going to be a little more to reach that as a success number, right? This is how, statistics go. We are going to serve more than 250. Each cohort, we are planning about 15 people. So it is very, attractive. We have dropout prevention measures. We want to make sure that every person who gets into the program actually gets out with a job, right? The whole we don't want to drop out. So we want to support each and every participant dearly. So how many cohorts? Emily and I, we were talking about this. We're thinking that until we reach our numbers, we're planning maybe every other month starting a new cohort of 15. This may change, but it doesn't matter on the other side, because we will keep bringing people in and put them in the new cohort. So about, if you're trying to reach 250 in 5 years, each year we're going to have about 6 cohorts, but that's not the point. If it's keep coming, we're gonna accept it. Like maybe first 3 years will be busier than the 5th year, right? So these things change, but that's a detail that we're going to figure out in our end. So just keep bringing people, send the referrals to us.
And this will be our final question because we are at about time. What is the plan with the first cohort? Is it to include VR counselors and any updates on progress throughout the program?
We do not plan for that, but again, think about it. Yeah, I'm not opposed. Listen, to make the success, anything makes sense, I will integrate that to the system. Any support is welcome because we can't do this alone. So if the counselor is willing to work with us, oh, welcome. We are embracing them all.
And can people from anywhere apply?
Yes.
And particularly people, and there's a couple people from Texas that really want to know if they can be involved. So I just
Yes.
a shout out to Texas.
Thank you, Texas. Yes, you can apply. Go
Okay.
ahead and do it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all. And don't forget, just if you couldn't ask your question, if I didn't answer your question, reach out to me. My email address is everywhere in the website. And this is accesstech@fau.edu. Again, say that I want to try to reach the PI Aisha. That email comes to me in an hour. So thank you so much all for your time.